Hi everyone, welcome to Note to Self, Cozy Life Talks. I am so excited to have you here today. I'm just here for this awesome episode that we're going to get into the topic that we are going to just, talk about, kind of have like just a little cozy conversation on. It's just like, the art of figuring life out. I do have my camera on, so if you're here on YouTube and you can see all of the good stuff I've got going on, I've got a really awesome cozy little video playing in the background from YouTube, and got a couple of things just set up, have my notes here. And yeah, I'm super excited. The episode that we're going to be talking about today is the exact reason why I got that spark to actually start this. So with that being said, let the cozy life talk begin. All right, so I did want to just kind of like dive into what I was talking about with like, where did this idea for the podcast even came from? I would say the past 6 to 7 months, I was just really in a bad rut. Let's just say it was a really bad place. I'm still in the job. I'm in a job where I don't know what I'm doing there. I'm not gonna lie, that really does put a damper on my creativity and my life and what I want to do. So for those who don't know, I am in the marketing field. I am coming up on 2 years in the marketing field. So that's been interesting. If you grew up with me, or if you just know me outside of work, you would know that marketing is not something that I ever wanted to do. And I was talking about it with my boyfriend yesterday about how this is just something that kind of fell into my lap. It was a way to get out of retail. It was a way for me to just make decent money and then to end up moving out of my parents' house. And so I did that, and I currently make, I would say, not amazing, not great money, but decent money for someone at my age, which is a strapping age of 25. I would say I am grateful for that. I'm grateful for it especially because the current company I work with is work from home. So to have that, just like I have this opportunity, it's like I don't want to be ungrateful. But for the past, honestly, I want to say 7 months, I've really felt the burnout with what I'm doing, the struggle with what I'm doing, and how upset it's made me. Majority, not all, I have some amazing clients, but majority of my clients, either it's hard to work with them because of their mindset or because they don't have the money. So it's like you can really hear it in their tone and their energy, and it's upsetting because I wish I could do so much more, but I can't. I'm just an employee. I'm a digital marketing specialist, to be specific. I did not say that, but it's sad, and it really has made me feel like, what am I even doing? This is not the field I wanted to be in. I've been in the writing field for pretty much my whole life. I got a creative writing degree. I've worked on so many works in progress. I've gotten a piece of my poetry published in an anthology here in Charlotte. And I'm a writer. I'm definitely a writer, but I feel like that's always a craft that you don't have to have it happen for you at once. It's not something that I have the need to want to succeed at now. But it is starting to drain on me where I'm like, I want to be doing this when I'm over here doing this, right? And in addition to writing, it's like I love YouTube. I love creating youth videos and content for others, whether that to be entertaining them or to inspire them. It's something that has really brought me a lot of joy. With the burnout I was feeling at work, weirdly enough, I didn't want to be creative. I wanted to just kind of be lazy. I wanted to lay down on my weekends off. If I wasn't doing anything with friends or family or my boyfriend, I just wanted to do nothing. I wanted to burn my brain away, and I hated it because it's like I knew I could be doing something. Like if I just followed my dreams or worked hard, there's a chance I could be out of the position that I am in. It's just so frustrating, right? And it's frustrating, especially if you know what you should be doing, but you're quite literally doing the opposite of it. So I was talking about it with my boyfriend, and I was just like, I really don't know what to do. I even considered teaching because of how confused I was, because I do like the idea of teaching, but the system of teaching and the way administration is nowadays, it's just so bad, and I don't think I could put myself through that. When I thought like, can I be a teacher? I don't think I should be a teacher, not because I can't, but because it's not going to do my mental state any good. It's not going to make me, the only goodness that it seems like teaching can still provide you is, you know, you get to help the kids and you really get to make a difference. And I love that, but it's not seeming like it's just a smart route, at least nowadays. And so I hated that. And my boyfriend was like, I don't think that'd be great, but I'll have your back with whatever you want to do. And I'm like, I was just spinning. And then I'm like, you know, obviously I'm not the only one that feels like this. There's got to be other people out there. And so I was like, you know what, why not start a podcast about this? And just so we can connect on this and give each other feedback and really go over life experiences and how it's affecting us now. I can share my insights, and I would love it if you guys can share your insights as well in the comments, especially if this is on YouTube. Please leave in a comment, just letting me know what you guys are thinking, how you're feeling, because this is not an easy thing. Whether you're 25 like me, you're younger, you're older, there's no set age for when we should be having this figured out. It sucks because they make the transition from school seem like it should be a straight line. You go to school, then you go to college, you get a job, you get married, have kids, then you die, right? I feel like that's the traditional line that people go through. And of course, you've always got like special things that happen, you know, like family reunions, graduations. But it's not a straight line. And I feel like because of the economy, just everything going on in the world, I don't want to get into that because that is just so frustrating and tiring. But because of that, it's not a straight line anymore. It goes up and down and just, you know, you shake it all around. So I just feel like the support of others is something that we all need right now, you know? And so I thought this could be just the perfect little cozy haven to do that. I definitely think we need to stick together, but that's essentially where this idea came from. And you guys, like, I've been out of it for so long. And it's upsetting, but I'm finally getting out of my burnout, so to say. Starting the podcast has sparked something new in me, and I love that. And I hope you guys are ready for that as well. I'm really excited. But let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into just the feeling of being lost and all that kind of stuff. So growing up, a big thing that my mom has always told me and my siblings, I don't care what you do, you just gotta go to college and get a degree first. And so growing up, it's like I knew that's something I had to do. Of course, that didn't really change my effect on how I felt about grades. Like I was probably a solid C to B student. I know that if I had better grades, my mom would love that, but she never made us feel bad about it. She just knew that she wanted us to go to college because that is something that she didn't get to finish herself. So it was a big thing she wanted for me and my siblings. I think it was the fact that she's like, you could be a clown if you wanted to. I don't really care. Just get that degree. Because with her generation, she's 45. I don't want to say she's stuck on it. I think she's finally starting to see it, but they kind of think that the college degree is going to solve everything, even though now I have this student loan debt that I haven't even begun to start paying back. Like, it's definitely a little frustrated because I'm just like, I can't afford to pay that right now. I've got so many other things I have to do. I'm just trying to survive. And it's all because I had to go to school to get a degree for something that technically, like, I got it in writing. I technically didn't need a degree for that. I just needed to write. I could have taken writing classes for that. And my mom swears that I would not have been able to get into my marketing job without a degree. My first marketing company, you did not need a degree. So for that to be the case, it was not the case, for sure. And so I'm not blaming her. You know, I am not regretting my experience because I got to meet my best friend and I had a lot of good experiences. I got to do the Disney College program. And so that was already something that was just like life-changing, right? And I was really happy about it. But now it's left me in a position where I'm, weirdly enough, in a job that I'm not happy in, and I don't really know an in and an out of it. And I think it's starting to take an emotional toll. Like, literally, when I spoke to my boyfriend about it, I was like crying because I'm just like, I don't like the fact that I didn't know what I was supposed to do. What am I on this earth for? I just feel so purposeless. And even when I would make like vlogs or travel vlogs and all that good stuff, while I loved it, it's just like, I don't know if this is my purpose. And it sucks. It does, because it's like, I still loved it and I still love it. So I'm gonna keep doing it. But I did learn something that just kind of like clicked a little bit in me. And when it comes to figuring out what passion that you want to do and what you're meant to do in life, you're never going to know unless you try. I was all over the place even before I got into college because like I didn't know I was gonna get my degree in. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I was a music something intern. I would say it was very much worth it, mainly because I got to meet Zendaya. What? And it was really cool, and I did learn a lot of skills that I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else. And so the fact that I, just a sophomore high school student, got to do that, I was really, really stoked about it. And then I think went to college, and I started off with a music business degree, and then quickly learned, like, with how much I hated music theory, I'm like, nah, I can't do this. This is not for me. I don't even know why I tried. So that's when I got into this place where I was even more confused. I'm like, what do I do? Almost went into a teaching major, and then I was like, you know what, screw it, we're just gonna go with something safe that I know my heart's always resonated with, and that's writing. It's interesting because in the midst of all of that, I even had a wedding planner internship, and I'm just over here like, I don't even know how I ended up finding that. Like, it was cool. It was definitely cool, but because I didn't know how to drive, and so I didn't have a car, I didn't have a license, and my mom had to drive me for a lot of it, and I had to try and find ways to get there, and I thought it was just so cool and fun to do. And the lady was really nice-ish. She wasn't bad, but like, I definitely think, I'm not saying wedding planners are high-strung, but that one was. No tea, no shade. Also, I didn't say yet, I do have a nice cup of coffee, just blonde roast from Starbucks, and I'm using the Mean Girls creamer, the pink frosting creamer. It is so delicious. I love it, and it's just perfect. So if you don't have a cup of drink and you'll want one, I definitely think you should go get one. So pause, or just take me with you to the fridge and let's get hydrated. But yeah, so I definitely think she was interesting, and it was cool because I got to go to a couple of events with her, but one day I wasn't able to go because it's like I quite literally didn't have, I couldn't drive. The train would have been hard to get to, and I just couldn't do it. And I think she just left me on red. She didn't respond to me, and I was like, oh, well, okay, I guess I got fired. But I'm like, it's okay. Of course, your girl loved the J-Lo wedding planner movie. It was so good, and I aspire to still kind of be her because like she's at a level of organization that I just love, and I'm so obsessed with. So it's like, with that being said, it's like, okay, so maybe wedding planner is not for me though, because I kept doing a little bit more research and it just wasn't it. I'm like, you know what, Victoria, don't. And it's mainly because it's like I just felt like I had to have a career, that even though yes, I'm getting my degree in writing, I can't really have a career as a writer because like I just want to write. Like I don't necessarily want to be 100% into the writing industry. I've always found the world of publishing interesting, so that is something that I considered, but I didn't consider that until after college. So with that being said, I didn't really take the proper classes, didn't take the proper steps, and so that left me graduated after college, working at Victoria's Secret and an education fundraising company, before making a hop to Express, which was the worst decision ever. Should have stayed at Victoria's Secret, and then making the jump to marketing. So it was a really weird, bumpy road, but all that kind of showed me it's like I tried a bunch of different things. Now, did I stay to them too long? I mean, like, for example, the internship for the music record label was maybe 4 or 5 months. And then the wedding planner one was probably like a couple of months. I tried a couple of things that got to show me like, yeah, you definitely don't want to do this. Or if you do this, you have to be disciplined, which is personally something that I am currently trying to really work on. But I did want to talk about like when it comes to knowing what you should be trying, what you should be doing. There are a couple of things that I have found that when it comes to trying to find your passion or anything that you're actually interested in, there's a couple of steps or a couple of tips that I can give that's helped me kind of at least hone what direction I want to go. So I definitely think, what are your values? What are the things that you think are important for the way you work, the way you live? For example, if you couldn't be caught dead in a cubicle, right? You couldn't be caught dead in a cubicle and just dealing with a bunch of meetings or having to make a lot of presentations in said meetings, just like really it's so uncomfortable for you, then you probably shouldn't go to something that is a typical office job like marketing. Now, if reading stories, organizing stuff, categorizing things, and helping people find the perfect book, then maybe you should be a librarian. Or maybe you should find something in that field. Like, you don't necessarily have to be a librarian. Maybe you can come up with systems for librarians. I'm not sure. There's a lot of different things out there. But kind of just figuring out what resonates with you, like thinking, so this is gonna require a little bit of research and kind of like seeing what different jobs. That's why like in high school and even college, if there are job fairs, you should go to them. And even if you're an adult trying to figure this out, you know, that's where we have the beauty of YouTube, we have the beauty of the internet. You're able to just kind of like look up day in my life of these different types of jobs, trying to really see like, oh, I could see myself doing that. Like just doing that research to see like what resonates with you. Of course, start with what you value. Yeah, you probably shouldn't become a Zumba instructor if you're not even a big fan of dancing, you know, something like that. Just trying to really sit with yourself and think about like, okay, what could I reasonably do? And I do think that would be a good start. Something that you could also do is assess the things that you love and the things that you don't. So just make a list of essentially your love list and your don't like list, or your hate list, something like that. Hate's a strong word. And like, I like to be outside. I like to swim. I like helping others. Being a lifeguard sounds really good for you. Again, there's probably a lot of different things that you could do with that, but that's just one of the many options. And I feel like it will just help you narrow it down to which direction you should go. I know for me, like, I love reading and I love telling stories. I love to bring smiles to people's faces. And so I knew very early on that regardless of how I did it or what I did, I am going to be a writer. And I'm sure many of us have heard of the Atomic Habits. He's stated many times about, if you want to be something, don't say, oh, I'm trying to be a writer. embody that I am a writer. Of course, I do have stuff out there in the world with my writing, so I do genuinely think of myself as a writer, but I have not reached the level of an author. But I also, at the same time, need to carry that mindset, like I am an author. So really believing into how you're feeling and what you're wanting. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel and you've been on it for a little bit, then you'll know that I've made a lucky girl manifestation video back last January. And at the time, like I truly believed in that, and I do still believe in that. Really manifesting it for you, putting out that good energy surrounding what you're wanting, and it's gonna come to you. Like really embodying that whatever is meant for you will be for you. And if it didn't work out, then brush it off your shoulder, girl, it wasn't meant for you. And that's how I also tried to look at it with these jobs. At the time of that video, when I got this current job that I'm in, I was just really happy that I got a decent paying job, more than what I was making, and it was work from home. Like, that's amazing. Like, oh my gosh, can you believe it? I got a work from home job and it pays at least $50K a year. I think that's awesome. And so I was just like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. I know I left my last job and it was at a time where I wasn't sure. I was gonna have to DoorDash to make up the extra money. And I was like talking to my therapist. I'm like, it'd be amazing if I got $500 next week. I don't know how, but it'd be great. Like, I don't know if I got a DoorDash for that. I don't know if I find it on the ground. I don't know. And then a couple of days later, in my bank account, I had like $400 from my old company that I had already left. And I'm like, whoa. How did this happen? I didn't want to reach out to them because if it was an accident, I didn't say nothing. I was like, whoa. Like, honestly, I was like thanking the universe, like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, granted, it wasn't 500, but bruh, it was $400 that I didn't have to do anything extra for. I was genuinely happy, and I was not going to question that. And I was like, I was going to take that win. And so it's like I had put that out there into the universe for me to receive this abundance of money before my new job and before getting settled and all that stuff. And I got it. And so I was really, really stoked about that. And so I truly do believe in like manifesting or putting it out there into the world for you to kind of just like take back. It's a really good way to just kind of like help you. Saying that you're a writer, saying that you're going to be a teacher, saying that you are a teacher, putting that positive energy out there. I think that's what needs to like happen to really help us shift our mindset. And it all starts with just, again, identifying what you love and what you hate. Really make that list. Really think about it. And if you need like a start, I recommend like Googling job descriptions or job traits, and then like putting it together, seeing what you come up with, and then just kind of narrow it down from there. But also, let's talk about how even though, yes, we may have this career that resonates with us now, like, oh, maybe the traits of a lifeguard resonates with you now. But in 20 years, maybe even 10 years, 5 years, you don't like swimming anymore. You don't like swimming anymore. And so are you going to stay a lifeguard? I mean, you could. You've been doing it for 10 years, right? But that's not fair to your heart. So I do think if you've given something your all, you've given it a good amount of time to truly, this is my path, then like, hey, it's like you've got two options. You can continue to go down that path, and that's really, really awesome. I literally applaud anybody who can be in a job field or career more than 5 years, because like that, I think that takes discipline, because it's so easy to get bored and want to leave if nothing's wrong. If nothing's wrong, it's fine. Like, it's a fine job. You pay your bills and you're decently happy. Why would you want to leave? But I think it's mainly because when you go on that second path, we're humans. We are multifaceted. We like multiple things. And there are several paths that we could go down. And I don't think so if you're a teacher for 10 to 15 years, but you're like, I just want to change. I feel like it's been really good, but I think I want to get more into the administrative side. Or I kind of just want a more soft life. I want to go farm. Something that I've always said is I would love it if one day, whatever I'm doing, if I'm able to, and I happen to be single, I'm like 60, 70. if I could, just like move to the south of France and start a little farm. I don't know, have a little cottage. That's not something that I could see for myself now, just because I do want to be with the hustle and bustle. I do like a good city, but like maybe when I'm older, I could see that for myself. So that's just something to note. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to stay in the city for the rest of my life. If that is a change I want to move, I can make that move. So I definitely think whatever you end up deciding to do, again, if it takes you a couple of months, a year or 2 years to really figure out, yeah, this is what I want to do, because you should definitely go through those trial and error stages to really figure out what's pulling to your heart and even your mind, because we gotta be logistical about things. If you want to make a change after another 5 years, after another 10 years, that's 100% okay. Because some people may say, oh, that's not really stable, you should really give it your all. And like, you can give it your all, but like if you've given it like 2 to 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years, and it's just not what you want to do anymore, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to make that change. Every day is not promised, and so to spend more time in a place that makes you upset, that makes you, or not even makes you upset, but you just don't want to do anymore. One, that's not fair to the job, whether you're working with kids, other adults, whatever you're doing, you're not giving it your all anymore because you don't even want to be there. I think you should make that change. If you don't want to live in America anymore, okay, where do you want to go? Like, let's research places that you want to go live in. I personally, the job that I'm in, I'm unhappy, and I made a video back last year, right around the same time I started this job, about job hopping and why that's okay. And because I do believe that's okay. At the time, I was good and I was happy with how everything was started. It had been a month, I think, and I was really happy. Now, it sucks because I'm unhappy. So in that video, I mentioned how like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Life be life, and like sometimes you just can't quit a bad situation. Sometimes you can't just leave a bad situation. And I've cried a couple of times about my current job, and so I do want to get out, but it's hard. I've applied to multiple jobs. I've been trying to leave because I want to make sure that my bills are going to be okay, that when I leave, I'm not going to be, on the streets. I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, taking care of my cat. I want to make sure that I'm good. So I'm trying to deal with it. I'm really trying to bear with it, but I'm getting to the point where it's like, I just want to leave, and I'm tired of denying my heart. I'm tired of not wanting to go to work. It's like, and I work from home, and because I live with a roommate, I don't have that separation. Like, my desk is pretty much all I've got, and it's starting to become hard to make the separation, which was why it's so easy for me to get into that rut, for me not to want to be creative, because I would literally, I'm right here and then my bed's right there. So I am finding that separation hard, and I'm really recognizing that. I think if you have a separate office, that's great, but it's starting to just get to a point where I don't want to do it anymore. And it's just hard because the job market sucks, the economy sucks. We're just not in a really good place as a society right now. But I am going to do what I gotta do to make sure that me and my cat are good, that I'm not gonna be out on the street, that she's gonna have food to eat. And me too. And while I know I can always rely on my parents if needed, but they've got their own stuff. They've got their own stuff to take care of. But that's what I mean. When you have to stick out in a bad situation a little bit longer and you can't necessarily leave, it's okay. I understand. Do what you gotta do. But with that being said, I think we personally need to work harder to make sure that we're even not necessarily following our dreams, but doing something that brings us joy and that could possibly give us an out, which is why I really do want to start having my content creation not even just be a place of where, oh, this could become something, but something to bring me relaxation, like something to give me clarity to my head and my thoughts and all that good stuff. I think a really big part of trying to get through this, really trying to get through a situation that you're not happy in, or even if you're out of that situation or you're not in that situation, but you're trying to find where you can go, where your place on this earth is meant to be. I think having a strong support system is huge. If I didn't have my friends, if I didn't have my family, if I didn't have my boyfriend, it would be really, really hard, because especially because one, again, I work from home, so it's like I can be very isolated. Luckily, one of my work friends is one of my best friends, and so we talk literally pretty much all day, and that's one of the things I look forward to when working. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna talk to my friend again. It's gonna be great. We're gonna dish on like the hot gossip, the tea, public pop culture. Did you hear about what that manager did? Like, it's just like, it's fun, and I look forward to that, and so that brings me a little bit of joy. And her support, like, even if it's us venting or complaining together, her support means the world. And then of course, I know I can call up my boyfriend, I can call up my mom, and I can just vent to them, and if I want solutions, they'll give it. If I don't want the solutions, they won't give it, because it's like, I'm not in that space. I just want to vent. And sometimes I have to overtalk things to get through it, mentally. It's weird. Having them makes a world of a difference, and I just don't know what I would do without them. I feel very, very lucky. I also think that when it comes to being in this situation, any part of the situation, like say you're in a good job but you just want to make that switch, or you don't have a job, you don't know what you're doing, you're kind of lost, whatever age you are, whatever stage you are in life, I think we just need the reminder that it's okay. It's okay to not have it figured out, right? I think as long as we can find ways to give us joy, whether it be small amounts or huge amounts, without ending up hurting ourselves. Like, for example, I'm not saying for you to go buy a race car and then you can't afford your rent. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, buying a new video game that you're going to be able to kind of like, essentially a form of escapism, but playing, and just bringing you that joy. Or if you want, because if you're trying to find a way to build yourself out, finding ways that are going to bring you joy, but can also lead you to a future path, like content creation, like video making, writing. I'm starting to look into options for volunteering, either that being at like a homeless shelter or at the animal shelter. I'm looking into ways I can start volunteering, and not only because it's a good form of escapism from what you have to do for work, what you have to do. It's a good way to give back to the community and to make others' lives different. Like, you're helping out somebody at the homeless shelter, or you're helping an animal find a good home. I think that's something that I am lacking a little bit in my life, giving back. And so I think that could help, and that can give me a bit of joy that I would just love. And so I'm really looking to that, and that's something that I would recommend for everybody if they can. But really just trying to find that for yourself. What is going to make you smile in times of darkness? And I really want us to know, though, regardless of what you do, even if you have to simmer on what you want to do, whichever way, like whatever you decide, it's okay. I feel like with social media, we get thrown so much content about what this should be, how this should look, and that's not fair. But like, at the same time, good for those people, but Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff can be, majority of the time, a highlight reel. And so a lot of the times it's not real, or even if it is real, we're not seeing their bad sides. Like, I know for me, like, I don't post my dirty laundry on Instagram because, one, that's not other people's business. There's no need for them to have that knowledge, unless, like, for example, I lost my house, it burned down, if anybody could donate that, something like that, like something where it's like I would really need the support of my community. That would be the only time I would ever talk about like things happening, and even then that's a stretch for me. But it's a highlight reel, essentially, and I really don't think we should use them to total inspiration. Now, you can use it to, like, I love a good Pinterest board. I do. I have one for my fitness. I have one for my wardrobe. I have one for my home. Inspiration for what I want to do, but I don't take it all as fact. I also want to make sure I have to think of me, the individual. What do I really want? Or if I want to get that piece, how can I incorporate it with my current furniture, my current bedding? Like, I'm not trying to change everything that makes me Victoria just to look like this person or just to look like what they have in their house. I don't think that's right. So you can use it as inspiration, use social media as inspiration, but don't use it to do totality. But regardless, I feel like I keep going to that point. Just remember that it's okay not to have everything figured out. Life is quite literally a journey, and to just be here the next day and the day after that, I feel like it's a gift. Like, there's so many people not with us anymore, and they don't get the gift of getting to see the next day. So because of that, we should make those days worthy, but we shouldn't also stress ourselves out. That's not something anybody would want for anybody. So take your time and really think about what you're wanting to do and how you're wanting to, I would say, make the best use of your time here on this earth. But you also don't have to rush it. As much as I wish I could just quit my job, I have to know that you have to start one step at a time. And in the Atomic Habits book, he talks about, be 1% better than you were yesterday. If you take 5 steps forward every day, that's going to end up doing you a lot of good versus taking 5 steps backwards. But yeah, that's essentially everything that I want to talk about today, just because it's just like jobs, life, purpose, like it's all just it's difficult in today's world. But if you're feeling this and you're feeling a little lost, just know that you're not alone. I'm definitely there with you, and it's hard, but we're gonna get through it one step at a time. I would love to know if you're willing and you're on my YouTube channel for commenting. I would love to know your thoughts, your takes, your personal experiences. I really do want us to bond as a community and just uplift each other, because I feel like there's so much negativity out there right now, and positivity is something that we could all really use, So leave a comment down below just about your experience and your thoughts. And yeah. All right, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time and listening to me. If you're on a regular podcast streaming service, or if you are on the YouTube channel, thank you for coming, taking a watch and listen. I really do hope that my thoughts and my takes just resonated with you. Do more research if you can, just really to help you feel full. I think that's really one of my biggest goals here. I hope today was just just a little bit of peace, and brought you a little further into your self-discovery phase of just trying to figure out either who you are or how to just be better for yourself. If you're going to be better for anybody, be better for yourself. And that comes with mental, and that comes with physical. And I would like to hope that this podcast episode was the first step for that for you. And so with that, I will leave you guys be. I hope you have a fantastic day or fantastic night whenever you're listening. Until the next episode, have a great one.